I'm doing a screenshot this time because I'm I'm done with this foolishness. So yesterday I was watching the Comicsgate live stream, and I heard about the whole Darwin Cook's widow kind of getting into it on Twitter with individuals, and it's one of those things that I really understand both sides. It's hard to have grace. It's hard to want to have grace when you are constantly feeling attacked and when you're constantly being told who you are by people who won't listen to you when you actually tell them who you are. And it's kind of becoming insane and problematic all of and all of that because the side who keeps talking about division, the side who keeps talking about how we're divided, the side who keeps talking about racism and sexism and things like that, needing to be stamped out, it's highly a problem when you refuse to even come to the table and talk to people and be rational about it. So I saw a few videos on the Jeff Lemire tweet, and I looked it up myself because I wanted to look through the response. And it was just sad because you know, you had people who were trying to be heard, who were just speaking from their heart, speaking about what they wanted. And then you had the jerks who just kept not listening and just kept wanting to say what they believed that the person said. And I kept thinking to myself, it's right there. Like, why are you ignoring what people are actually saying? And this kind of made me think as a writer of why we're having such a problem today, because you have these writers, you have these artists, you have, these creators who don't want to listen. And it's a problem because comics is such a hurting industry. It cannot be ignored that it's a hurting industry. And so when you see creators, and you're seeing more and more creators who are entering this name calling avenue, and you see how much they're trying to repulse customers out of this need to please people who aren't even going to buy their books. It's a sad, sad thing because writers, creators, artists, the creators includes all creative people who mostly, would be the stereotypical right brainers. They need to learn how to use their left brain in being analytical. I enjoy the fact that I consider myself more of a left brained right brainer, meaning I am creative, but I'm more creative analytically in that I assess things, I look at things, I spend a ton of time researching things because cannot, you cannot be a successful creator without understanding the business, without understanding promotion, without understanding, customer service. And I get the fact that customer service is normally people's least favorite thing, but let's be honest, your work can't just speak for itself in this current age of social media. It just can't. Why? Because you're now a voice on platforms like Twitter, on platforms like Facebook, on platforms like YouTube. So the things that you say, they no longer go away. And then when people keep telling you, never mind my word as I call you a bigot, a racist, a homophobe, a transphobe, a whatever phobe or ist or whatever it is I can call you, never mind that, just buy my stuff. That's more than just being silly, because you're now publicly stating what you think of people who buy your work. And when you have such little respect for them, you cannot think that they're going to keep supporting you. That's rationality. That's being logical. That is that's being a researcher. For Jeff Lemire, when I watched what happened to Donald DeLay, just by saying that I don't think that diversity in comics is the Hitler that you all say that he is, and to see how quickly they X'd him out of the community, to sit there and say that it's the other side who is a problem when it's the other side who welcomed him, when we saw him just be destroyed on Twitter, like when you can't even do that most basic of research, you are part of the problem as a creator. And I'm sick and tired of these creators sitting on their high horses and not even doing the most basic of research and sitting there and castigating their customers and then being surprised and acting like these customers are supposed to still buy their stuff, as if the money that people work hard for does not actually belong to them, but belong to people who think that they have the right to steal it, regardless of whether or not they're good human beings or not. I understand that sometimes people are going to be willing to ignore somebody's personality if that person is an outstanding talent. But guess what? People's patience inevitably fall short. I'll give you an example. There is a tennis player who is a great tennis player if he takes himself seriously. I won't even say his name because half the time I can't even remember it because he gets on my last nerve because his personal life is a mess. His on court, and it leaches onto the court, and it just is too much drama, too much mess. And when commentators sit there and say, well, we need this in tennis. No, we don't need this in tennis because it's supposed to be about competition. I'm not paying to watch some jerk behave like an immature jerk on the tennis court. Likewise, I'm not paying for product to then turn around and see this person behave like an absolute jerk and call customers names so you can appease people who aren't even going to buy your work. This need that people have to please this unmarketable market of SJWs, it's getting on my last nerve. It is. I'm sorry if I'm sorry if I got a little heated, but being good to customers, listening to customers, understanding what they're saying will go a long way of ensuring that you will be able to work toward sustaining yourself. Being creative is a hard thing to sustain yourself on. Majority of writers have to work other jobs while they write. Majority of artists have to do other things as they try to make it in their business. This creative avenue is not is already difficult, and it's already hard to sustain yourself. So then why make it even more difficult by being unnecessarily cruel and nasty to your customer? Outright calling your customers names is the quickest way to ensure that they will never buy your work again, regardless of your talent. Because here's the thing, your talent doesn't matter when you are rude and nasty. Yeah, you might get some others who might just buy your work, but here's the thing. Your sales might go up a little bit, but it's not going to be sustainable, especially if the people that you're trying to draw don't even like comic books, don't even like reading whatever genre you write in. They don't like artwork in your particular style. You want to be a quality, talented person. Being quality and talented means not only just getting the lay of the land, it means truly knowing and understanding and researching that land. And certainly it means not being rude and nasty to your customers because you think that you can get away with doing it. That's the problem. That's a huge problem for me. And because I've said what I've had to say, I'm just going to go. And I'm going to say, have a good rest of the day. If you like this video, hit the like button, of course, and subscribe, and hit the bell for notifications, and all that stuff that has to be said in order to grow, a channel. And hopefully, well, let's just be honest, this whole thing is not going to blow over remotely quickly, but my sincere prayer is that when the dust settles and things like that, comic books as an industry will still be there because it really is a great medium of entertainment. And I just, like, at this point, I really have no hope for Marvel. And like, I'm losing all hope for DC. And I really don't want them, I don't want them to fail. I don't like when businesses fail. When I see, but when you see the attitude of these people and you see the way that they speak to people, it's so difficult to see them ever fully succeeding. And The saddest part is that they just don't get it because they're not listening and they refuse to listen. And inevitably, when you refuse to listen, that's where capitalism and the marketplace, that's where it, shines the best, because people are not obligated to buy things that they don't like or want. They're not obligated, and you cannot obligate them to do that. And so I just really hope that eventually things will get better, but I know that it won't, because I'm seeing the way that people are not listening. And when you don't listen, it is very hard to make your point clear. So that's how I will leave it. And I guess I'll see you guys in the next video.